What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new discussions video for My Hero Academia. Once again, this continues this week of me doing an episode discussion for episode 9 of a particular season. This is the third one since we started with season 3 and did one for season 4, and now we are here with season 5, ladies and gentlemen. And man, what an episode that was that we had dropping a few days ago of season 5 with Bakugo and his matchup in the Class A versus Class B, arc. And that episode did such an amazing job of just showing off how much Bakugo has grown since the beginning of the series that I just had to make a separate video, just really going over Bakugo's growth and just his overall development, how he's kind of gone from like this loner, super competitive, guy who, honestly, when you really think about it, he is not very far off from someone like Kobe Bryant. Like, I know some of y'all might be looking at me like, whoa, what the fuck are you talking about, Glenn? What are you smoking, Kobe Bryant? But literally, look at these two. Both of them are ultra competitive. Both of them won absolute victory, and both of them become absolute raving lunatics when they lose. Legit. Look up videos of like stories other players have told about Kobe Bryant during his time when he was playing in the NBA. You'll question whether or not the man was ever clinically sane with half the shit this man was doing during his career. Like, I was literally watching a video, another video about Hero Waka that was actually over the manga and some of the current things going on, because I was kind of like a little bit curious about it. So I only watched like the first 5 minutes before I dipped, and that person mentioned Kobe and how similar he is to Bakugo, and that they're both extremely competitive, and it was like, my mind was blown, and Bakugo's character made complete sense to me after I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, shit, he is very much like Kobe in a lot of ways. And one of the biggest ways he's similar to Kobe is the fact that he wants to do everything by himself. If you guys know who are fans of the NBA and basketball, Kobe in general, you guys know that Kobe was never really much of a team player. He was always someone that wanted to just do everything by himself. Give me the ball and I'll just do it. Which Bakugo is very much like that, and no other episode shows that off than episode 24 of season 2. Now, of course, as you guys know, in this episode, season 4 of season 2, rather, it was the episode where Izuku and Bakugo were teaming up together for the final against All Might to, of course, to pass their final. And the whole thing was them teaming up to face off against All Might, who was portraying himself as a villain, and for them to work together to defeat him and get to the exit to pass the test. Now, as we know from that episode, Bakugo took every opportunity he could to shit on Izuku and say, fuck you, nerd, I will do this all by my fucking self.
I don't want to hear another word. I told you we don't need your dumb power to pass! I can win it all by myself! Out of the way. Shut up, scum! If I'm so bad that I have to get help from a weakling like him, then I'd rather lose this. Can't believe I'm working with someone like you!
So, and because of all of that, Izuku and Bakugo did really work well throughout most of that episode, until the very end when he was reluctantly working together with Bakugo in that episode. Now, one thing, and that shows a massive contrast to what we saw in season 5, and there was no better showcase of the said growth of Bakugo than, of course, with how well he was able to coordinate with the team by him basically becoming the leader and having them follow him, and then him just kind of coordinating with them to help gain absolute victory by him telling Juro, which I found hilarious, he called her ears, using her earphone jacks to scope out the area and try to figure out where the rest of her opponents are, and then also wearing down his opponents so that then the rest of his teammates can finish up the job and capture them while he moves on to the next one, all in quick succession, so that they don't really have much of an opportunity to regroup and are kind of just disoriented from like, oh shit, where's it coming from, what's going on, with how quickly they were coming at him. Which, like I said, was fucking off. Seeing Bakugo, man, like, it's so crazy that he was able to finish it all in under 5 minutes. Like, low-key, my man just grabbed the golden shovel and just started burying Class B with that. But anyway, and also huge shout outs to Horikoshi Sensei, and the rest of the animators and people behind the anime that did such a great job of just not only animating this stuff, but of course Horikoshi's writing really just bringing it all home in this episode of how much Bakugo has grown, and of course from what we saw in episode 24 of season 2, really just showing off the two contrasts of Bakugo from then to where he is now. beautiful things, and Loki Horikoshi started like, really showed off to all the people, like, oh, Bakugo's just like this one-dimensional guy, he's nothing but an angry dude. Horikoshi's like, no, motherfucker, there is more to this man, you just gotta let him marinate for a second, don't worry, it's there, Now, Baku isn't the first time we've seen this type of character, a character who, for lack of a better term, filled with nothing but piss and vinegar, that was super against the idea of working together and teammates and all that shit, has since warmed up to the idea and has been a part of the team since then. And I think no other character fits this bill more than Jason Todd, aka the Red Hood. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for once I'm actually doing a video on Hero Waka, and it's not on Marvel. I'm actually showing DC some love for once, because hey, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's about time I gave DC some love. So anyway, guys, First off, the Batman wiki describes Jason as impulsive, reckless, and full of rage.
Gee, I wonder where I've seen that before.
Now, before I go diving headfirst into Jason and his growth throughout comics, first let me give you guys a quick little history lesson for you guys that may not be familiar with the character. So, cue the Bleach music. Now, Jason's original origin story pre-Crisis, when I say pre-Crisis, I mean it takes place before the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was this big, massive event in DC Comics that changed a bunch of shit. Think of it like Avengers Endgame, but on a multiversal scale. It's the quickest, easiest way I can summarize Crisis without extending this video another 20 fucking minutes. Anyway, in Batman issue 357, when he was introduced, he was the son of trapeze artists and circus performers Joseph and Trina Todd. Now, if it wasn't obvious enough from that little synopsis I gave you, his origin story was ripped right from Dick Grayson. He was basically a carbon copy of Dick, only difference was his fucking hair color. So obviously people weren't big fans of this, so post-Crisis, after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, they changed it up in Batman issue 408, where he was actually this punk kid that actually, surprisingly enough, stole the wheels off the Batmobile. Yes, even as a kid, Jason has some massive balls. So anyway, after Batman caught him, he chased him back to his house, where we find out his father is Wilson Todd, who's a criminal, and his mom Catherine later died from disease. And as we can see from that issue, he was a smoker and just a punk kid with a chip on his shoulder. The polar opposite of Dick Grayson, and most certainly he was not a Boy Scout. So after that, Batman of course took him in, trained him, all that good shit. Now that you guys are all caught up, let's dive headfirst into Jason's actual growth, starting off with, of course, the iconic Batman, A Death in the Family. So in this comic, we see just truly how arrogant and impulsive Jason really is, where he disobeys direct orders from Batman, which we all know where that got the boy Wonder. Anyway, after he was blown to smithereens and died, years later he was brought back in Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, which, by the way, if you guys haven't already seen that movie, please watch it. The anime movie is fucking fantastic. Anyway, in there, we see Jason has taken matters into his own hands, where he has donned on the Red Hood moniker to show Batman that he can be a better Batman through his methods. Instead of using fear and not killing anybody, he's like, fuck all that shit. I'm just gonna just kill everybody and do all that shit. So, where this would all culminate in where you have him, Batman, and Joker all in the same room in this abandoned apartment, and I'm just gonna play the clip from the movie because it's too good not to. So anyway, roll the footage.
I don't know what clouds your judgment worse, your guilt or your antiquated sense of morality. Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive?
Gotta give the boy points. He came all the way back from the dead to make this shindig happen. So, who's got a camera? Ooh, get one of me and the kid first. Then you and me, then the three of us, and then one with the crowbar. Then...
You be as quiet as possible, or I'll put one in your lap first.
Party pooper. No cake for you.
Ignoring what he's done in the past. Blindly, stupidly disregarding the entire graveyards he's filled. The thousands who have suffered. The friends he's crippled. I thought I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. If it had been you that he'd beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil death-worshipping garbage and send him off to hell.
You don't understand. I don't think you've ever understood.
What? What, your moral code just won't allow for that? It's too hard to cross that line?
No! God Almighty, no! It'd be too damned easy. All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him.
Aw, so you do think about me.
But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Why? I'm not talking about killing Penguin or Scarecrow or Dent. I'm talking about him. Just him. And doing it because he took me away from you.
Which, by the way, in the original comic, Batman is way more hardcore. Anyway, after this, we had the Battle for the Cowl event where basically Batman was presumed dead, so a bunch of other people started to battle for the cowl and to become the new Batman, including Jason Todd, which, by the way, I must say, when he was Batman for a hot second, like the second issue or whatever, man, did my man look cool. It was so fucking badass. See Jason in that Batman suit and him just, just going to town on fools. It was so awesome. So badass, man. Just perfection. So badass. Anyway, after this, Jason kind of just did his own thing and just kind of meandered about the DC universe for a while until we got to the New 52. Now, for you guys that don't know, the New 52 was basically a canonical resource for the DC universe, similar to the Ultimates universe, only instead of that being an alternate reality, or an alternate universe rather, this was the main continuity. I know this is probably going to get a little confusing, but hey, welcome to Comics Page. Anyway, once the New 52 started up, Jason got his own book called Red Hood and the Outlaws. Basically, it was him leading a group of vigilantes called the Outlaws, which consisted of him, Starfire, and Arsenal. The book itself was awesome. I loved it, man. It was such a great joy to read. And plus, I highly recommend you guys check it out because not like I said before, not only is it really good, but also there's this really wholesome moment between Bruce and Jason around the beginning of it. It's just so good, man. Anyway, in this book, we see that Jason's kind of mellowed out since the end of Under the Red Hood, since, obviously he's not working with teammates, and he isn't all about avenge me! No! Which brings us to the end of the series. And this last page of the series really shows off just how much Jason has grown as a person since the end of Under the Red Hood, Battle for the Cowl, and all that shit. Where we see, as the group all go their separate ways, we see Arsenal and Jason hugging it out, and then Jason says this, we weren't a team. We were friends helping each other pick up the pieces of our lives. We were outlaws. And I think this page really just shows how far he has come since, Battle for the Cowl and Under the Red Hood, that Jason is no longer this just angry, arrogant, hot-headed, impulsive kid, where he was back in like Under the Red Hood or Death in the Family. That he has grown up a lot since then, and he has just kind of chilled and mellowed out a lot since those comics, which was cool to see, man. And especially when I was doing the research for this video, kind of just looking at him where he was in Death in the Family, where he was Under the Red Hood, and obviously in Battle for the Cowl as well, rewatching the film and just kind of thinking back to where he was there to when I was reading Batman, Red Hood and the Outlaws like earlier this year. It really showed that this man has changed a lot. He went from that to now working together with his teammates in both this and the New 52 as well as Rebirth, which was another chronological shift for the DC universe. They just love to reset their timelines apparently over there. But yeah, guys, and it honestly would not surprise me if Jason Todd, or Red Hood rather, served as some sort of inspiration for Horikoshi when he was creating Bakugo, since they do have some similarities with the hot-headedness, the arrogance, and the impulsiveness. They even kind of dress Loki kind of similar as well. In the same way that Izuku was obviously inspired by Spidey, both of them are raised by a single parent, both of them were bullied, both of them, are introverts, both of them are smart. It's like the similarities are definitely there. And Uraraka, of course, inherited Peter's money troubles, which I'm sure is another. You can add that to the list of reasons why Izuku and Uraraka will end up together at the end of the series, and reason 10 million why Bakugo and Uraraka makes no fucking sense, people.
Think, Mark!
But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end this video off. I had a lot of fun making this video, recording it, and obviously doing the research, reading Battle for the Cowl, reading Under the Red Hood, finally reading those two comics, because they've actually both been on my Comixology account for like the longest time, for like years now. And I just never found the time to just sit down and read them until this episode. And I was like, ooh, I can make a video of this. Once I finally figured I was going to do this video and talk about Jason Todd, I was like, all right, I got to read these two comics just so I can be thorough and I can finally read them, So I had fun with that. Rewatching the movie was, of course, a blast. And yeah, man, tell me all down below what you guys thought of the video, all in the comments. Do you agree with my take? Do you agree that, do you think Bakugo and Jason Todd do share some similarities and there could have been some influence from Jason into Bakugo, or do you think I'm just talking out my ass? You know, leave it all in the comments. What did you think of Bakugos Growth in this episode? All that shit, guys. And of course, if you guys actually want to see more videos like this of me talking about Hiroaka, the influence from Marvel and DC that could have influenced Hiroaka, I have an entire playlist where I dedicate to some of the other videos I've done on that. So if you guys want to see more of that, you guys can check that out in the iCards above. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's too bad.